call a funky Friday mix. How about it? It's 7 o'clock and welcome in to the Real Monica Adams show. Hope you're having a great start to your day. We're talking about some really beautiful weather yesterday. I hope you all got a chance to get out, enjoy the weather. And if not, today might be your day to do so. We're going to talk about the weather with our What the Weather segment with our aspiring meteorologist who's going to join us from North Carolina as we go into the weekend. Are you going to be able to have weekend plans outside? Any rain coming our way? We'll talk about that. We will wrap up the Republican National Convention as they get ready for the Democratic National Convention. Did you watch it? Feel free to weigh in on any of the topics that I bring up throughout the day. Also, some breaking news from overnight affecting airlines, affecting businesses. And I don't mean just in the United States. This is a worldwide problem. Bud Light is in the news. A comedian, longtime actor, passed away. And we got some sports news for you. So we're going to have a busy morning, and then we're going to do what Carrie wanted, which is to show you how to work out in a chair. So those of you with mobility issues, maybe you have a disability and you cannot get out of a chair or a wheelchair. That doesn't mean you can't get your body moving in some capacity. So we'll do that for you, Carrie, today. But let's kick things off with What the Weather.
Alrighty, welcome back into this new more weather forecast video. This one has been looking significant for a couple of days. So
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Monica.
Finally.
Nice to be here.
All right, welcome back. So Beckett has had some problems back and forth since he signed on with me about 6:45 this morning. I think his connection in North Carolina is creating a problem. So I'm going to fill a little time, do a little song and dance for you. I do have his forecast if by chance we can't get his connection back. He also is so sweet. I asked him if he could come up with a Cabo San Lucas forecast since myself, Michelle, a few of her friends are heading off to Cabo San Lucas tomorrow. My wonderful husband is staying behind with the dogs, taking care of the house. Isn't that a good husband? Yes, we will be there. And guess what? We will actually be doing a couple of shows from Cabo for you Monday and Friday. So we're going to start off your week in Mexico. We're going to end your week in Mexico. All of that coming up for you next week. And we also have some of our best of shows that we've really enjoyed over the last year, really over the last several months. So these are shows that some of you have never seen before because some of you are brand new to the show, maybe in the last week, the last month, maybe the last few months, so maybe you've never seen these shows. They are going to be for you scheduled. So you won't get a live notification on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, but know that we're there for you, always there for you. But that little red circle that you get of, hey, Monica's going on live, you won't get it. But please do me a favor because the team has done their job working behind the scenes, working hard on editing everything up for you to get those ready. So they're scheduled to launch right at 7 a.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So look for them because it won't be an automatic. And pass the word along because I know someone's going to go, where is she? All right, it's 7:04. Shocking because he had been coming on and off and on and off. So I don't know if Beckett, let me see if he's sending me a message. Nope, he must be having a connection problem. I hate to give his forecast. Well, I tell you what, we'll have him go more in depth if he's able to sign back on. But this is what he prepared for us. And he's got his own little more weather graphic in there. So if you are heading out today, he's got 84 on the map that he put together the other day, but he just told me a little bit ago that he's expecting more like 81 for the high today. But look at that sun shining. It looks absolutely gorgeous for our Friday. If you're going to do your exercising, really, it's pretty much any time of the day. You're not having to worry about that oppressive heat. So 84, and then we go into Saturday, and again, we're going to stay in the 80s. It should be absolutely beautiful. The rain chance, though, starts to come in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's when we start to see it actually ramps up as far as percentages. So if you're talking about when is the most rain, it's pretty much on Wednesday and Tuesday. We have a slight chance on Monday, about 30%. Tuesday, 50% chance of scattered rain and storms. And then the same thing for Wednesday, Thursday, some isolated one. But pretty much you're going to stay in the 80s. Again, low to mid 80s is going to be your next several days. Now, Now, as far as Cabo San Lucas, just go with me on this because he created it for us. Again, this is sunsets at the Arch, and that's El Arco, if you've ever been to Cabo San Lucas. Approximately 7:04 p.m. local time. Cabo Wabo forecast, he said salty with a chance of lime. And he told me that his mom and dad helped him create the Cabo Wabo one. Ocean temperatures, sounds good to me, 78 degrees. All right. Anybody want me to pack them in the in my luggage and take you along? Yep, I think so. That forecast looks great to me. Beckett, if he is watching or his mom or dad, feel free to come on at any point and we will recap the forecast and talk a little bit about his time in North Carolina. Move your, if they're watching, you can move around and maybe find a connection somewhere. I would love to see him. He's so good. I was asking him about how things are going there and he was telling me about the trip. So if he's able to come on, we'll have him break that down. If not, we'll check in with him when I come back from Mexico. I hope you're all having a great start to your day. I just want to start right away with some of the breaking news that happened overnight that you may not have even heard of yet. If you are heading to the airport, and I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that this does not affect us tomorrow. I am being told that they do have help on the way for what has just happened overnight, and I'm talking worldwide, not just in the United States. CrowdStrike saying a widespread disruption is not the result of a security incident or a cyber attack. However, it is affecting flights. It is affecting businesses. Literally, businesses are having to shut down. The outage hampers air travel, hospitals, Microsoft reporting the issue with its cloud services overnight. This is a global technology outage. Again, grounding flights, knocking banks offline, media outlets off air on Friday in a massive disruption that affected companies and services around the world and highlighted dependence on software from a handful of providers. Cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike is saying that the issue is believed to be behind the outage, not a security incident or a cyber attack. The issue affected Microsoft 365 apps and services. Escalating disruptions continuing hours after the technology company said that it was gradually fixing it. The website Down Detector, which tracks user-reported internet outages, recorded growing outages in services at Visa, ADT Security, Amazon, and again, some airlines. There were news outlets in Australia reporting that airlines, telecommunications providers, and banks and media broadcasters were disrupted as they lost their access to computer systems. In fact, airlines in the UK, Europe, India reporting problems. Some New Zealand banks said that they were offline. Microsoft 365 posted on X that the company was working on rerouting the impacted traffic to alternate systems to alleviate the impact in a more expedient fashion, and that they were, quote, observing a positive trend in service availability. Again, this is a huge deal, and it's affecting so many. In fact, just from an airline standpoint, I know I took a look. So there's a website that we can look at and find out the airlines and what their outages are. We always stress to you, do not call the airport, but call your airline to see if it's affected. I know in the US, the FAA said the airlines United, American, Delta, and Allegiant had all been grounded. However, as of 4 o'clock this morning, our time, American Airlines said that it was back up and running as usual. However, expect huge delays at the airport. From what I saw, the lines were unlike anything I've seen in years. So just a heads up with that. Okay, he's back with us. So I'm gonna pause the news for just a second because that is a big news story, and then we'll get into the rest of it. Beckett, what the heck's happening? The weather, what the heck?
Sorry about that, but I'm here.
I'm just giving you trouble. First of all, how was North Carolina?
It's been great. We went on a float trip. We've been swimming, hiking, walking around town. It's been awesome.
Oh, I love that. So how long are you there?
Oh, we're here till Sunday.
Okay, so forecast wise for our area, I did a little bit of it, but I know people have been enjoying this break. I mean, we had horrific rain and flooding, but the positive is it brought these cooler temperatures, right?
Exactly. It's been below average for sure in the 80s and sunshine. It has been a pretty nice week there. Now today, I think she's already gone over the forecast, but I guess I'll go over it
Just a
again.
little bit.
80,
You do it better.
81 degrees. as our high today, and sunny skies. Tomorrow, 84 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Again, this is below average. Very nice for this time of the year. 85 on Sunday with that cloud cover moving in. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those are when we're going to have to watch for rain threats, with Tuesday and Wednesday being the bigger days for those rain chances. And also some storms are going to be possible there as well. But the good news is we likely won't be getting back to the 90s. I mean, through this week, we are going to be in the 80s. So likely won't be getting back to the 90s until late next week, into the next week. So it's going to be some nice weather. Also do have some rain that we'll have to watch out for.
So when I come back from Cabo, I'm evidently bringing warmer temperatures with me.
Yes, it is going to be very nice in Cabo, 83 on Sunday. As we move throughout the week, likely seeing temperatures in those low to mid 80s and that sunshine. And then sunsets at the Arch are going to be at 7:04 local time. Cabo Wabo forecast salty with a chance of lime, and then ocean temperature 78 degrees.
You said your mom and dad helped you with the Cabo Wabo?
Yes, yes, they
You
did.
have to, you've never been to Cabo, have you?
No, I have
Okay.
not.
You need to go, and all of you, by the way, need to go. It is just absolutely beautiful. It's become my home away from home since
All right.
2010 when I got talked into buying a timeshare, but I'm very happy I did that because it's brought me a
Yeah.
whole other world. Well, thank you
Oh,
again for going above and beyond and providing the Cabo forecast. But again, what you've delivered for the St. Louis area, and I don't think anybody can complain about that. Just grab the umbrella, as Beckett said, for the early part of next week. So I won't talk to you next week unless I say, hey, we're going from Cabo. Join me.
yeah. So have a great vacation. Have a great week.
Thank you so much. And I will talk with you in a week's time.
Sounds great.
Okay, bye-bye. I'm so glad we were able to get him on. It is 7:12. I tell you what, I'm going to take a quick pause. We talked about the outage. Is anybody being affected by that? So let's make that a little bit of a talker. Do you have Microsoft? Do you have PCs? Are you having any issues this morning? If you have a business, are you struggling with being able to get your systems up and running? All of those questions for you. And then we're going to discuss day 4 and the final day of the Republican National Convention. What did you think of the speech last night and the other speakers, and then getting ready for the Democratic National Convention? All of that for you this morning. We'll also break down a comedian whose life was lost, but with us for a long, long time, providing some incredible entertainment for us over the years. And then we will get into other local news and some sports news, all of that coming up for you this morning. Again, let us know where you're watching from. Questions or comments this morning, drop them in wherever you are. Facebook, YouTube, X is back up. Thank you, Elon Musk, as well as Instagram and Rumble. We'll be back with more news that you can use.
I'm excited to announce my all-new mattress topper. In the times we're in, I wanted to bring you the best affordable mattress topper ever. So I took my 2 best technologies and combined them to make the ultimate mattress topper. And now you can get it for as low as $69.98. Queen size only $99.98. It all starts with my famous MyPillow foam that provides you that overall full body support. Second is the individual comfort supports that give you an amazing custom sleep experience. It's like it's made specifically for you. The queen size alone has over 14,000 comfort supports. This is the perfect mattress topper to improve any bed. New bed, old bed, your guest beds. Get them for every bedroom in your house. Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the all-new My Mattress Topper for as low as $69.98. Queen size only $99.98. Don't delay, order today.
All right. Thank you, Mike, for believing in what we're doing here, the message of positivity. It is 7:14. If you're just tuning in, we just had Beckett Moore. You can tell I'm down in the gym, so we're going to give you a workout that you can do without even leaving your chair. So there's never an excuse for those that say, well, I can't do a lot of the elevated workouts that you do. That's fine. We've got it for you. Okay, I hope you heard about the issues that are going on worldwide with what, again, happened overnight affecting airlines. So if you or someone you know, that can't stress this enough, is going to the airport, make sure you get in touch with them. Let them know that there could be, and I do mean long, long lines at the airport as they try to get this system back up and running. And if not, they're going to have to reschedule you on some flights. I know a lot of people were saying they didn't even know if they were going to be able to get to their destination today or tomorrow. Again, I am hoping that this is back online and that it doesn't affect us, but we will be getting to the airport early for sure. All right, the other big news, of course, it is the Republican National Convention that just wrapped up day 4 of the Republican National Convention. And a lot of people were waiting to see former President Donald Trump to take the stage and do his speech. Now, some people were saying they were surprised that it was so late before he ever took the stage. I mean, I was watching, and let me know what your takeaways were from it. I was watching, and it was what, 9:35, 9:40 before he ever took the stage. Kid Rock, first of all, what did you think about that? Kid Rock's performance, my husband was not a fan of it. He was like, all right, enough, wrap it up. But Kid Rock and Trump have been friends for a while. They also had the CEO from UFC. Dana was out there. You had Hulk Hogan. Did you see Hulk Hogan on the stage? That was actually pretty funny. If you ever watched him wrestling, he ripped his shirt off. Other great speakers before he ever took the stage. Terry said, excellent RNC convention. Julie said, I'm tired. I stayed up and watched. Can you tell me, Julie, what time did it wrap up? Because I stayed up also until about 10:15, 10:18. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go to bed. And the reason I said that, and I want to know what you think, I really thought he was going a little bit off course with what he was saying. And I wanted him to stay on course more. Again, the message was of unity. He ripped up the original speech that he had that probably was more bashing the last 4 years and probably a little bit more negative towards Biden. And he was like, nope, it's time for us to unite the world. But there's a lot of takeaways from the final night of the Republican National Convention. I always like to hear from you, though. Like, what did you think? J.D. Vance introduced himself as Trump's running mate. Trump obviously did accept the nomination for the Republican running for the president. All of that. Kamala Harris to campaign in Milwaukee days after the end of the Republican National Convention. And there's information that started to swirl last night on Newsmax from a very credible source that was saying that Biden was stepping down for the 2024 presidential race. Of course, that's not confirmed from all sources, but his source, and he's a very credible reporter, that's what he was hearing. Whether or not that's the case, we'll, of course, keep an eye on it. But what did you think? Just let us know. Oh, Julie said, I love Hulk Hogan. And let's go back here. 11:20? Are you serious? Wow. I couldn't stay up for all of Trump, couldn't stay awake. Yeah, well, I did not. I thought it was nearing the end. I thought it was going towards like maybe 10:30, and I was just missing about 10 minutes of it. So I missed an hour. So what happened in that final hour? Everybody that actually stayed up, what did you feel were your takeaways from, again, from what he said? Do you feel like he was uniting the country? Do you feel like there was some division at all? Because again, this is, if you run around on social media, you'll see CNN, MSNBC, you'll see the AP, Fox, Newsmax, News Nation. It always depends on what are you looking at as to what news you get. And I always stress that, because if you are only always watching what you consider to be more of a Democratic or conservative mindset of a media side, you're only getting one side of the story. It's important to go all around. So if I do that for you, let's just pull up ABC. They're saying Missouri Republicans anticipating Trump and positivity. Okay, that was 14 hours ago. Just a couple of hours ago, Donald Trump on Fox News officially accepting the GOP nomination for president of the United States recounts the assassination attempt. So for me, one of the things that I thought was very powerful was his going back to Saturday. And because so many people have stopped him and asked him, what in the heck happened? He said he was going to talk about it once and then never talk about it again. And he went through all the levels of how beautiful it was and how loud the crowd was and the spirit of the crowd, the uniting of the crowd. He just said everybody was in such a joyful spirit, and then as it all played out. So I thought that was really powerful. And they panned a crowd, and the crowds had a lot of the people in the crowd at the RNC had tears in their eyes. You could see the tears falling, just very humble. And that was the thing that a lot of people have been talking about, is that it was a warmer, more humble side that we saw of him. Some of the fast facts from the RNC, the former president, again, feeling more humble and trying to unite is what a lot of people were saying. Do you agree with that? Vice presidential pick J.D. Vance again hit on themes of populism and family in his speech. Dana White and the legendary wrestler Hulk Hogan standing up and saying, you know, we've never done this before. And one of the things that I thought was interesting from Dana White was that people have criticized Trump and saying that he's only about himself. And one of the things that Dana brought was the text message between he and the former president and saying, I really greatly appreciate you ending your vacation, and I don't want to disrupt your family time. But his wife, Dana's wife, said, "You've got to be there for him. You've got to go." But it was more of a humble, a warmer side, I think, that we haven't seen. So, what did you think about that? Julie said he stopped around 11:10. Okay, Crystal, I was actually impressed with him. So much softer than he's ever been. I agree. He's definitely more humbled now. Yeah, I mean, his life was saved. I mean, that's true divine intervention, if it's ever, because he was talking about the millimeter of a second that just and the millisecond if he had, because we talk about living in the now, right? The power of the now, the moments that pass us by so fast. But he was recounting the speech and how he had asked for some graphs to be pulled up and happened to turn. If he hadn't, he wouldn't be here, is what he was saying. In fact, at one point he said, I'm not supposed to be here. And that's when the crowd shouted, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, I agree with all of you that said humbler. I do want, though, anybody that felt something different, because again, we need to hear both sides. Linda said Trump did look and sound more humble. It was a true wake-up call last weekend. Biden seems to be getting weaker looking as far as his health. I worry for him. So do I. He's pushing himself to an earlier grave. Is he, or who's pushing him? That's my biggest problem right now, is that if I am his wife or if I am his daughter, I know that there's some serious health problems, and I am not pushing that man to stay in if he is getting weaker and weaker and whatever it is that's taking over. So that's my frustration. So sweet, gusto granddaughter on his lap. Yeah, it was wonderful to see. He said 10 kids and a lot of them on his lap before. He did, thank God. Yes, he did several times. Oh, his, not gusto. I was going to say, what's a gusto? So sweet, his granddaughter on his lap. Okay, Crystal, only a couple times off course. Okay, I started to hear that from about 10:05 to about 10:15. I'm like, come on, Trump, stay on course. Stay united. That's what people want to hear. They want to know that this is what we have if they put him into office. This is what we have moving forward. We want. There are other things that, I was looking at CNN talking about fact checking and that they thought that there were some lies that were spewed out there. The Biden campaign says that Trump's RNC speech failed and didn't mention Project 2025. A top leader, actually, for the re-election campaign with Biden-Harris sent a statement following former President Donald Trump's closing speech, saying Trump left things out of his remarks. Trump, the nominee, of course, spoke of dodging assassination. The Biden-Harris campaign said the lengthy speech made no mentions of Project 2025, a presidential transition project launched in 2023 by a handful of Heritage Foundation directors that's not associated with Trump's campaign. And they said, quote, tonight, of course, last night, Trump rambled on for well over an hour and failed to mention Project 2025 even once. This is from the Biden campaign chair, Jen O'Malley Dillon. He failed to mention how he had inflicted pain and cruelty on the women of America by overturning Roe versus Wade. This is again from the campaign of Biden-Harris. He failed to mention his plan to take over the civil service and to pardon the January 6th insurrectionists. This is a continued quote. He sought to find problems with America, not to provide solutions. But after all, it was Trump who destroyed our economy, ripped away rights, and failed middle-class families. Now he pursues the presidency with an even more extreme vision for where he wants to take this country. And Dillon said that Biden is, quote, running for an America where we defend democracy, not diminish it, where we restore our rights and protect our freedoms, not take them away. The stakes have never been higher. I always want to give you both sides. Those are all quotes from the Biden-Harris campaign. Yet on Trump's side, he talked about what has happened to our world. The part that I was disagreeing with is that he talked about, if you look back at all the presidents we've ever had in the glorious United States, that this particular president was one of the 10 worst that we've ever had. When he started to say that, I was like, get back on track. Just focus on what we're going to do for the next 4 years, to take the grocery prices down, to take the inflation down, to have more homes available and ready to you, to pull again all these prices, the inflation, everything that has skyrocketed. And that is not false. So when I see fact checking that that's not true, well, sure it is. We haven't seen the likes of the numbers at the gas station and the grocery store like this in many, many years. And that's the frustration that I know a lot of Americans have their problems with, is why in the world you can't afford it. You've got young kids that are graduating from college trying to get their first ever home. and it's not happening. They're having to, we mentioned in our real estate segment that many are foregoing paying their student loans that they're going to have to pay for decades because they're trying to say, do I eat? Can I pay for gas for my car? Do I have to pay my student loan? Where am I going to live? These are all real world problems that we're talking about. All right, Crystal had said only a couple times did she feel he went off course when he started getting rambunctious, which wasn't near as bad as he's been. Before, I couldn't hardly listen to him for a minute because of his arrogance. I listened to the entire thing last night and was pleasantly surprised. Okay, good. He also had COVID, which doesn't help. That's what Julie is saying. That has to do with Biden, not Trump. Amen to that, Jenny says. Help the poor man where he needs it. Yes. Terry, I felt Trump was being real in the moment with everything that's happened to him from 16 on, almost losing his life. I realize people don't want to hear some of the facts and accomplishments that he's made. I feel his tone last night, even while touching base on these issues, has changed. Even though he was direct in some of the things he stated, he was also concerned and humble, not a bitter, argumentative man. I feel he truly has the American spirit in a positive way to help our country get back on track. I'm proud to be a Trump supporter. This is again from Terry, and have been, I'm sure she said, from day one. I didn't like some of the negativity that came out of his mouth, but realized that the media was telling the story and he was silenced, so he wanted to have a voice. We may not like his tweets, but I sure did like how our economy was. I'd be interested to see if his tweets change, by the way. I pray for his family and all U.S. citizens that we may find the humbleness and the positivity within ourselves. Good post, Terry. Linda, agree. If I was his family, I'd put my foot down. Talking about Biden. It's very sad, Julie says. I would as well. Missy, he started off well, but gradually went off course and not as united. Missy, thanks for that. Because again, it looks like I missed about at least 45 to 60 minutes. He wasn't going to talk about Biden and others in a mean way, but he did. Okay, that's what I wanted to know, if it continued that way. Diane said, I thought he reconfirmed that he's all about caring about America and making our lives better. He is genuine. Again, this forum is here for you. Please weigh in. Let us know what your thoughts are, any questions that you have. Good morning to you all, by the way, wherever you're watching from. Let me know what platform you're on. I always like I like to go through and see where you're watching from. In fact, I think we can even check in. Let's see where everybody is. It looks like we've got a lot on X, actually. Here's our social media check, time to text. And we've got, we usually just have a couple watching on YouTube in the morning live, and then a lot of people watch it a little bit later. 20 of you right now on Facebook. We've got 38 on X and 3 on Rumble. It doesn't show our Instagram. So let me pop over and look at our Instagram fans, make sure that there's no questions or comments there. Anybody drop your questions or comments? Yeah, drop them in and I will be sure to bounce around and make sure that you are heard. So we're talking right now about the final day of the RNC. Rose says, speak about politics. Let's talk about self-care. The busier we get, I know I put myself last. We will do that, but we're talking about the two major stories. Again, the CrowdStrike issues. We're talking about the RNC, switching to the DNC. I just want to make sure I haven't missed anybody's comments. Okay, so those are the two biggest stories. And then have you heard about what might be one of your favorite comedians, more of the dry comedian days, right? The legendary Bob Newhart passed away. Did you hear that news? Well, he lived quite an incredible life, making us laugh for years. Again, in a lot of movies, and just a true comedian, one of the class acts from yesteryear. But what a wonderful storied life he had. If you have not heard, the legendary comedian and actor did pass away. As far as sports, the Cardinals are back in action after the All-Star break. They play against Atlanta. And then you got St. Louis City SC on tap as well. They'll be in action tomorrow at the pitch. And I want to let all of my fans that love going to the Muni know that Fiddler on the Roof kicks off tonight, and it goes through the 25th. They're just coming off of the Little Mermaid. I don't know if you've had a chance to go to the Muni yet, but this would be the time to go. I wish that I could go tonight. I can't, so I'm going to miss this one because I'll be gone again. If you don't know, we're going to Cabo. We're leaving tomorrow morning. Jim's staying here to take care of the doggies and take care of the house. He's a good man. He's actually the reason I'm going, he said. And this is why I wanted to do the self-care aspect. So we're going to talk about self-care, and then we're going to talk about workouts, because I know Carrie's on. Carrie said, thank you for doing this. She wanted to know if there are workouts that can be done when you are limited in mobility and you are in a chair, or maybe you can only get up and out of the chair a little bit. Yeah, I'm actually sitting down right now, and I'll show some exercises. I got my dumbbells right here that you can do. So there's truly never an excuse. One more bit of entertainment kind of side, I guess a little bit of entertainment news. Have you heard about this? I mean, I know we've talked about in the past Bud Light and some issues that Bud Light has had. And I don't know whether, again, it goes back to the marketing or where, but Bud Light is slipping further down the rankings in U.S. beer sales. They are losing more ground, slipping actually to the number 3 beer in sales in the United States. They fell from the number 1 spot last year. Industry trade publication Beer Marketer Insights reports Michelob Ultra rose to take Bud Light's number 2 spot during the period from Memorial Day to the 4th of July holiday. Mich Ultra, also brewed by Anheuser-Busch. Modelo Especial, made by rival Constellation Brands, remains the top-selling beer at U.S. retailers after surpassing Bud Light last year. And I mentioned, again, a boycott against Bud Light may have created some of the problems. That was back in April of last year over the sponsored Instagram post featuring a transgender influencer. The social media post drew ire from conservatives, and Bud Light's response to the controversy angered some liberals. But now, again, dropping down to 3. Do you drink beer, by the way? I am not a beer drinker. I want things good for, again, the businesses in our area, but I'll have to buy it for my husband. I'm not a beer drinker. Kathy says, one of my former students is performing in Fiddler on the Roof. Oh, how cool is that? I'm excited to go to the Muni tonight. Oh, very, very cool. You'll have a good one because it's gorgeous weather. Carrie says, I'm in my folding chair and getting ready to work out with you. All right, well, we're going to do that. We are right at 7:30. So this is what I always do. I always flip from the news over to our topic in our second half hour of the show. If you are new to the show and you wonder, what is the show all about? We'll take a look. He wants to say, I can't believe I took your son's life. I don't know what I was thinking. I have so much regret and remorse. I've changed my life. Would you accept that apology?
I've never thought of that. Yeah, I would.
Do you think, because you talk about forgiveness, do you think that you all can ever forgive one another and come back together?
It wasn't just right. I'm not perfect. Just because my name is Bush, I don't have it all figured out. And I think they know that too.
I was cyclically depressed, so I could be the happiest person you ever met at 11 a.m. I could be on cloud 9, and by 7 p.m. that evening, I'd be sitting on a couch with a gun in my hand. And hard not to get emotional. I
never feel sorry for being emotional.
I really, I was at a space to where I couldn't believe that I had brought my children into this.
Where's the light? Because many of you probably feel that there's this darkness and there's this thunder cloud that's constantly over you. This family has dealt with so much.
Our journey is our journey. There has to be purpose in this pain. There has to be something more powerful. I have to find something to be blessed about every day. I have to count my blessings and have gratitude every single day.
Amy, you could not have said that better. And that's what that whole journaling aspect is about. I've always asked for you to write down intentions in the morning. Have you done that? We haven't talked about it in a while. And when we talk about self-care, it is how much value do you see in yourself that you want to better yourself? Do you wake up in the morning miserable, yelling at your spouse? Do you have a spouse? Is it just you in the house? Do you have pets? You're griping and yelling at them. What are you putting out to the world? We're going to talk about these things as we do the balance between fitness, mental, taking care of the heart space, right? The heart-centric space, your spirituality, and actually finding the balance to pull away from what you feel is negative in the world. So we were just talking about the RNC, and it's interesting because Rose was like, all right, enough talk about politics. I get it, but it is on top of mind. I mean, it is the next several months. What's going to happen to our country? Again, now I do want to say, Debbie made a comment, okay, I had to see some comments, and who's being one-sided now? No comments about Trump's babbling. I don't know whether you just signed on. Absolutely. There were multiple comments about people saying that he started to go off course and then he had to be pulled back. I literally ran down everything that the Biden-Harris campaign felt was wrong with it. So we definitely gave you the balance, and we definitely want to unite the world and say, now I'm asking everybody that watched the RNC to watch the DNC, because you need to keep an open mind. I want you, I should say, to keep an open mind. Carrie said Fiddler on the Roof, one of my top 10 musicals. Luann, good morning to you as well. And then from the self-care aspect, Rose was wanting to hear more about that. So Rose, do you put yourself first? I'm going to ask that while I do a workout for Carrie. So I'm going to take care of both of you, all of you actually, that need a little assistance. And if you are wanting to level up, then you get out of the chair. But I always show exercises, for the most part, standing. I'm in a chair right now, and it's just a regular chair, okay? So Carrie said she's in a folding chair. My one comment about that is I want to make sure that you are sitting up as upright as you can. You don't want to be slouching. So you're using your core immediately as you open up. So if you do this and slouch over, then the very first thing to actually use the muscles is to open it up. So I'm actually doing a little crunch, opening it up, dropping it back down. You can also, let me turn you sideways. This would be to help stretch, putting my hands on my legs and then doing that kind of cat-cow stretch that we do. A cat-cow stretch can be done in a chair. But the problem I have with a folding chair is I don't want it flipping up on you. I like a sturdy chair. I even like you to take the chair and put it up against the wall so that you don't have any possibility of it tipping over. When you get ready to do any type of workout, seated or standing, please make sure that you check with your doctor. Anybody that's taking care of you. Maybe you're going through physical therapy right now, especially people who have mobility issues or they have a disability. I want you to make sure that it's okay with your occupational therapist, your physical therapist, your physician, whoever has your care, and they are the ones that have the watchful eye over you. Make sure that they're okay with these things. So I hope, Carrie, that you've done just that, since you knew I was going to take care of you today. And for all of you, pass these things along. So I want you to have weights. Now, the other day, Terry had asked, well, what if somebody doesn't have weights? Fine. Find something in your home. I don't care what it is. When we were just going into the pandemic, one of the first motivational moments with Monica that I did was with soup cans, was with a milk jug, was with, a Tide bottle for your washing machine, whatever. You've got stuff all over your house. So there's no excuses of something that might weigh 1, 2, 3, 5 pounds. Now, if you're wanting to go heavier, then maybe you double those things up and then you make it like 7 or 8. But most people say, oh, I'm good with trying to find something that's about 5 pounds. So if you've got a 5-pound weight, I've got 15 here. You can do things single. You can do them together, whatever you need. Julie says, I feel I do too much self-care. What does that mean, Julie? That's interesting. Tell me what that means. Okay, so Carrie, grab your dumbbell or dumbbells or soup can or whatever you have. Watch what we are able to go through. We're going to do our back. We're going to do our shoulders. We're going to do our biceps. We're going to do our triceps. All those things. I'm just going to show you one set of them just to show you that you absolutely can do the workouts when I'm standing or I'm jogging or I'm doing the leveling up. You're going to level up, or you level up in your chair. Or if you are at all possible, I want you to stand up and then hold on to the chair. We're going to seat first. So we're going to do your shoulders. You're going to press up and in. Let me back off a little bit here to show you. So you're not doing this, right? Carrie and everybody else, you are sitting upright. And then you're going to do your shoulder press. So I'm going from here, pressing inward. Again, you can do it single, or you grab both of your dumbbells. You go up and in, let them touch, come back to the ear. Don't strain in the neck or the upper back. I don't want you to pick a weight that's so heavy that you feel like you're pinching the shoulder blades together. Okay, so that's some shoulder work. Again, you've got to pick, because I'm not personal training you right in front of me. You got to pick what the weight that you use. You've got to pick your repetitions. You have to pick how many sets you do. And hopefully you all understand what a set and a repetition is. That could be for your shoulders. Now look, I'm going to come to the edge of my seat. What is that? By the way, why am I doing that? Do you know, Carrie? Why am I coming to the edge of my seat instead of sitting back to the back part of my seat? And by the way, that is something you should do on a regular basis. You should sit to the edge, because it does what for you? Okay, so Carrie's got 3-pound dumbbells. I love it. But Carrie and anybody else, why am I moving forward to the edge of my seat, sitting to the edge? Anybody know the answer to that? Let me look over real quick. I don't want anybody on Instagram to be answering, and I'm missing out on that. All right. Yeah, we're good over on Instagram. All right. Why am I sitting on the edge of my seat? Give me that answer. Back strain. No. Anybody else? Why am I sitting on the edge of my seat for all of this, by the way? And I'm going to scoot back so you can see the full movement. There you go, Missy. Good job. And Terry, good job. Yes. Core, core, core. You need to do this when you are working at the computer. You need to do this when you're talking on the phone. Yes, Carrie, core. Absolutely. Core strength, core engagement. Okay, that's important. So for all of you that do this regularly in front of the computer, or you're watching TV and you find yourself slouching, imagine what you're doing as you're aging. You're bringing those shoulders down more. Your posture is going to suffer. Help strengthen the core. Yes, Jenny, all of you, you are correct. So I am going to give you a little tidbit, and this is it. As often as you can, sit to the edge of your seat. You'll actually, and have mirrors around. I know a lot of you don't want to look in the mirror. Have mirrors around to see yourself. You'll start to go, oh my gosh, and you'll constantly be pulling the shoulders back, getting the chest up, right? Engaging the core, doing what? Taking the navel, drawing it in almost as if you're attaching it to the spine so that is upright. We want to be more upright in life, especially as you age. I've trained seniors for a long, long time at Friendship Village. One of the very first things I did with them. So I want you to think about this. From seniors who feel that they're weaker, they haven't been training, they just need somebody to believe in them. Somebody who says, I have limited mobility. Do you believe in me? Oh my gosh. One of my favorite stories is a gentleman who had cystic fibrosis, and his whole family said, well, he can't do much. And then he also had cerebral palsy. All those things had him in a wheelchair. And they said, well, let's just take him and wheel him in front of the equipment. This was back when I used to train at River Chase, like, I don't even know, 20 years ago. And I thought, well, does he have to stay in the wheelchair? And they said, yes. And I said, can he ever get out of the wheelchair? And they said, well, maybe. And I said, I think he can. We're going to work on his leg strength. So I put a belt around him, just like they would do in therapy. And he trusted me. I had them go and not stay there during the workout because I think that they would have just mentally gotten into his mind a little bit too much that he couldn't do it. And I lifted him up and I was there to hold him while we worked on up, down movement. So for those of you that say, I can't get out of a chair, can you really absolutely positively not? If you can't, then there's the answer. But I want to know, is there even a slight chance that you can work these legs with some assistance? So maybe you hold on to a pole, or you have like these TRX bands that are behind me. You could hold on to that, and that actually helps with your core stability. You get a little bit of core work. It's actually assisting you with that. And then if I had those way back when, that would have been amazing. He could have held on to those, which suspends your body weight. And then I would have held on to his belt. Again, one of those therapy belts. And he would have been able to do this, small movements up and down. Even if we're working a limited range, we're working more than no range. We're getting them up out of the chair to get back down. So Carrie, I ask you and everybody else, can you do that for me? Can you hold on to something in front of you, whether it's another chair, please make it sturdy, whether it's another chair and you're able to hold on to have some assistance, or you've got, again, like I said, a bar or some bands or something in front of you that will help assist you to get up out of that chair. I got to get you out of that chair and get you moving. It's important in life. Now, it might exhaust you to do multiple reps of that. That's fine. Work those legs. And then sit back down, and then we go into another body part. I mentioned I was going to show you all of those. So for those of us that stand, we are doing, and you can do your standing version. Okay, we're showing some things to do in the chair, but you can stand up and do this if you want to. So we showed to the shoulders. Well, here's your biceps. Carrie's got her 3-pound biceps, the 3-pound dumbbells. Okay, you're going to do this. I have a second folding chair I can put in front of me. Again, please make sure that folding chair doesn't move. That's the biggest thing I can say. But look, right here, Carrie, what am I doing? I'm working my biceps. What I don't want you to do is this. You don't want to be rocking like that. So I'm going to do different views. Again, what did I just do? Went to the edge of my chair for my core, sitting upright, and then coming upwards and back down, squeezing the biceps at the top, finding the right weight that when you've done 12, 15, 20, 20, however many reps you want to do, that you feel like, whoo, those last two were hard, but I could do them. It was a good struggle, but I didn't affect my form. You didn't get sloppy with it. Tricep. I'm going to open up this so you can see the top part. Go into your triceps, Carrie. Take that dumbbell, put it up over the top of you. So look, I'm going to do this with my hands. I'm actually forming a triangle like this over the top of the head of the dumbbell. So it's like that. And then over the top of my head, don't do this with your elbows. pull them in, and then drop to 90 degrees, 90-degree angle, pushing straight up. Now look, I'm not getting out of my chair. All of these things can be done, Carrie, in your chair. Those of you that don't need to be in a chair, then get out of the chair and work your core and work your legs. Be upright. Don't slouch. Shoulders, biceps, triceps. Look at this. We can do our back in a chair. Yes, we can. Not only stretch, I showed you the cat-cow stretch you can do in the chair, but you can do the rowing aspect also. So let's act like this is a wheelchair, or this is a chair that someone feels like they have to take a break. Lean over. Don't relax the core, engage the core, and then pull upwards, slow on the way back down. My elbow, by the way, is coming right alongside. It's not coming out. Breathe in when I extend or, okay, so right here is where you're going to breathe. And why is that? If I hold my breath, it's a great question, by the way. If I hold my breath, I'm actually going to prevent, especially as it gets harder, the movement continuing. I could actually stop the movement because I don't have the breath pattern working for me. So pulling back, engaging right here. So you hear about the latissimus dorsi. This is the lat. You're squeezing right here, Carrie, everyone that's watching and working out together. Shoulders are pulling back, squeezing at the top of the contraction. My shoulders are my support muscles, and so are my biceps. Pull days, back days. People call them pull and push days now, but pulling back, and then that will actually work your shoulders, your biceps, and your back, and your core. Don't forget about the core. The more you draw the navel in, the more you're working your core. So we just showed you some shoulders, some biceps, some triceps, and back work, all without leaving the chair. Now, how about this? You can work your abs and you can work your legs, even if there's limited, but when you hear limited, that still means there's an option of positivity. For those who truly cannot, I'm talking about para or quadriplegics, well, then it is any type of movement. And trust me, people that they have the inner spirit, and this is where we talk about self-care. They want so much for their life. They believe in themselves or looking for someone else to believe in them. They just want to be able to wiggle a toe. They want to be able to lift a leg, even an inch. All that type of therapy that they go through to have an aha moment of, look what I just did. When you say, I can't do this, or you sit on the couch and you're watching TV and you're just wasting your life away, think about the people that wish they could do this, to press a remote to watch the TV, and they can't even move their hands. They're burn victims. They, again, are in a wheelchair, confined to a bed. There's so much of life that you need to take in and appreciate and not take for granted. The millimeter of a second that we talked about earlier, that book that I've been writing that has to do with the power of the second, and I do mean milliseconds that go by. Every single tap, tap, tap. That's breath of life that we have. Are you taking care of yourself? Do you plan getaways like I'm getting ready to do? And I have to thank my husband for it, because sometimes we need to be checked. Sometimes we need a family member or a friend to tell us, you've got to slow down. You're working too much. Jenny said, how many of each of those should be done? Sorry, I missed that. Okay, so that all depends, Jenny, on someone's goals, right? So let's say I have somebody and I've had this before. I've had a man that was in a wheelchair that could not use his legs. So they did therapy. They had to actually move the legs for him. But, and this is what I always stress, someone who has an injury or they're just coming back from surgery, you've got all the other areas of your body to work. Why aren't those working? If you cannot move the legs, you can move the upper body. We have sculpted and carved incredible physiques in people who have very limited mobility or no mobility at all. So from a repetition range, if I have a guy or a girl who's wanting to build a little size, well, then they're going to lift a little heavier, Jenny, and they're going to do repetitions that might be 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12. If you're wanting to lean out, then let's drop the weight down. Let's slow the repetition down and let's go higher in reps, maybe 20, maybe 25. Again, since I'm not privately training you, have you right here in front of me, I can't tell you exactly how many reps to do. You've got to figure that out on your own. But what I really don't want you to do is just do a walk in the park, right? I want you to move And I want you to get outside and enjoy the walk in the park. Let it be what it is. Self-care, listening to the birds chirp, enjoying the sunshine, taking in the moments that truly could just pass us by, but appreciating nature. But don't let the workout be the walk in the park. The workout should be like we did today. I mean, you can probably see in my hair, I was drenched with Mary and Ann that trained this morning. We did 5 groupings of 5 different exercises, 12 to 15 reps of those. And if you would like that workout, here's what we did. We did back. We went right into shoulders. We went right into biceps. We went right into the front part of our legs. And then we did mountain climbers. We sprinted through all that, took a very quick, and I do mean quick, 60 seconds or less break. Got some water, did it again, changed the angles around. So we did row work. We did press work. We did upright row work, which, by the way, this can all be done in a chair, Carrie. You could get the same kind of drenching that we had this morning by moving faster. If you're able to, maybe you've got a heart condition. Well, then you need to check with the doctor, and they might say, let's slow it down. These things that Monica is showing you, maybe we just got to tone it down a little bit. Breathe in. Oh yeah. So that was the thing that Carrie was asking earlier. The breath work is on the hardest part of the movement. So if I'm doing a shoulder press, I'm breathing out here, Carrie. And then I'm inhaling on the way down. If I'm doing my biceps, I'm breathing out here. And then I'm lowering it down. Again, every single time I'm engaging the core. If I'm doing my triceps, my breath work is up as I am extending. If I am doing kickback work for my triceps also, by the way, you can see I'm still in my chair, leaning forward onto my front leg and then kicking straight back. What I don't want, I was telling some clients this the other day, when you've picked too heavy of a weight, if your shoulder starts to drop and then you're back here, instead of being way up here, being able to do that kick. And see, I'm coming slowly back to 90 degrees. What I used to do with a lot of clients, it's more in the private training, I would put my arm underneath to brace so that they could not drop the shoulder down. So I would brace it here behind them. And then as they would go back, they would come back and they would be forced to stop at that 90-degree angle. So if you work out with a partner, that's a nice little pro tip. You might want to do that with them. When I do wall squats, how do I breathe? Are you doing squats or are you doing a wall sit? You might want to do a wall sit where you're just doing time under tension. You're holding the wall squat, the wall sit, I should say. And a lot of times I like to have a ball put behind so you can, one of those big fitness balls, so you can put your low back into the ball, draw your navel in, you're engaging your core, and then drop down, if you can, to a 90-degree angle. If you can't, you work in the angle that you can, and you hold it for 30, 40, 45, 60 seconds. When we do our assessment, by the way, I'm looking for 45 seconds that you can hold. And if not, then we know we've got some work to do on our legs. If you're doing wall squats, you're breathing out on the upward motion. The problem that most people have is when they start a squat, they start up here. And so we usually say it's the first part of the movement where you're exhaling. But that depends on how you're starting the movement. A squat should actually be started down and going up because you're squatting upwards. So you're exhaling out. Great question, by the way, Carrie. And breathing is paramount. It's so important. Carrie says, okay, sit. So yes, you can do wall sits or wall squats. If you can do squats, great. So understand that there is movement or there's hold. There's isotonic and isometric. Isometric hold would be your sit. Isotonic would be your movement. Not to get too technical and science geeky on you, but that's what you would call it. Okay. Any questions on any of those? Okay. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to show you that you can work your core. You can work your legs together. And Rose, are you still with us? I want to know, I asked you earlier, do you take care of yourself first before you take care of anyone else? Or is it all about everyone else? When's the next vacation you have? When's the next girls' night out or guys' night out? Those are all very important. Everyone knows about Jody's balls, and why is that?
I have the best ball.
Oh my God. Oh, wait. We always have a little fun, do we not? So we showed you the heartwarming stories and the good fun that we have as well. That's a lot of fun. I mean, we talked about how beautiful the forecast is going to be. Get in that pool. I love the fountains, don't you? What is it best that you see in that video? I see happiness. I see moments shared. I see kids laughing. I see volleyball being played. Oh my gosh. I mean, the fun that you can have is endless when you or someone that you love has a pool in their backyard. It could be an in-ground pool like you're seeing here. It could be an above-ground pool. You might have a basketball backboard there. You might have a slide. You might have a diving board. You dream it and they will do it. Just Pools. Pool and spa specialist on the West Outer Road in Arnold. And again, I ask you to support those that support us. You can also ask them to help create your backyard oasis. You can have, again, look for some new chairs and tables. Maybe you want a wood-burning oven that's out there for pizza. You want some water features. The main thing is you got to keep that pool looking incredible. And for that, it's the chemicals that are 10% off right now. And all those fun little floats and little fun toys that the kids love. They want to shoot the little water guns at each other. All those things you can see 30% off right now at Just Pool Spa Specialist as well. You can see those hot tubs. I love going back and forth between the pool and then jumping in the hot tub and back and forth. Remember, tell them that we sent you in. Just Pools, Pool and Spa Specialist, West Outer Road in Arnold. Welcome back, 7:56, and a lot of you on doing a little workout with us. Want to make sure that I didn't miss anybody's comments or questions. Debbie said something about she was on by 7 and she watched all of the RNC. It's all good. It's all about how we interpret one another. It is, because I absolutely felt that my audience today weighed in on saying, okay, we needed to pull him back in a little bit. He gave you, the message definitely was more humble. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. Much more soft. But then we felt like he went off a little bit and came back. So I think everybody did a good job of weighing in. And I made sure that I told you from both sides of the aisle as well. Debbie says breathing and stretching are two of the most important things on a fitness program, according to her. Often dismissed and often misused. Again, these are words from Debbie. Julie, 4 trips planned right now. 1 with the girls, 2 with the hubby and friends, 1 with just the hubby. Life is good. Jenny, I need to be better at me first. I always put myself last. And that is exactly what I wanted to do with the message this morning. I've said it before, and I will say it again and again and again. You have to take care of you. And it is not at all being selfish. Remember, I'll hear it tomorrow when I get on the plane. When you are talking about putting a mask on, I mean, you have to use this analogy. You put your mask on first for the oxygen on the plane, correct? You don't put it on your kid or your husband or your mom or anybody else, because you cannot take care of them if you haven't already taken care of yourself. And you just think of that from the oxygen standpoint. So start to translate that to every aspect of your life. Rose, I hope you are still on. Let me know if you are. If not, maybe she'll watch later. But Rose and everybody else, you have to take care of you. And I want you, if you haven't been journaling, maybe you used to and then you got away from it a little bit, make sure that you get back to it. It's important because, as I've mentioned before, it's a true science that goes from the thoughts that are in your head, all the thought processes that are here, to transfer them from here and then put them down on paper or type them up, whatever you want. It then plays out. It's that manifestation aspect that we talk about. You want something to happen in your life. You want more happiness. You want to get rid of the toxic people that could be family members or friends. Well, you got to write down what's been going wrong. What role are you playing in what has gone wrong? Here's Rose. My neighbor came and got me because they were working on our street. I apologize, Monica. I put myself last. Okay. So I'll stay on with you for a little bit longer. I don't have an immediate. I'm going, okay, here, let's talk about self-care. I'm going to get my nails done. Okay, this side, look at, they look nice and pretty. They're starting to kind of push up a little bit though. This side broke on me. So these guys have got to be taken care of. The other ones are fine. But I'm going to probably get some tips on. I'm going to go relax before I relax for the next week. I am starting my self-care early, going to get my nails done. Do you and your husband go and do that, by the way? If you're at home going, oh my gosh, my husband would never. How do you know? Maybe you just do a little introduction with him. I love when Jim, and he hasn't done it in a long time, so maybe he'll accompany me today. I don't know. I like when he goes and he enjoys and says, I need to do this more often. I understand why. My brother, the first time he ever had a pedicure, he's like, wow, now I know why you all do this. And I was like, it's because women get what it feels like to be pampered, but we don't do it often enough. And guys are going rush, 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 trying to be the provider. Slow things down. If that's not the thing you want to do together, find what connects you. So Rose and a lot of people, including Jenny, said that they put themselves last. I must change that. Have fun in Cabo. You deserve it. You're one of the hardest working women. Well, I appreciate that. Do something nice for yourself. Yes. What does that look like? Julie says me first. Anybody else feel that people think if you take care of yourself first, that it comes across as being ego-minded? It's not the case, because what you would do is tell them, hey, if they say, well, gosh, you're always putting yourself first, say, well, you know what? That's because I need to make sure that my spirit and my mind and my body are happy. Are you putting yourself first with regards to, or let's say this. Are you missing out on the importance of what you put in your body? And I mean, from a nutrition standpoint, do you take care of the rest of the family and then all you do yourself is just graze on a bunch of food and not even eat what you've prepared that's bountiful and beautiful and straight from the earth and what God wanted for your body? You have that for the whole family, and then do you just sit there and eat chips and candy and cookies and huge portions, and that all that creates a problem. If that's you, slow it down. Calm your mind, meditate, learn the art of breathing, start implementing all of these things. The problem is I've given these before and people don't implement them. So I have to ask you why. So one of the things that we're talking about doing is having live workshops to where you would come, probably where my building is, because we have the ability. And here's the cool thing. There can be people that would be more of the, we've talked about doing like subscription based, because people are wanting more and more content. They want more opportunities to do coaching with me, but they can't maybe just do one-on-one. So then it's more of that workshop feel. There's an opportunity where we could have 25, 75, up to 250 people at University Club Towers. And now we're talking about piping it in where it actually can be streamed. So many ideas that are through our heads. And one of the things I was telling my friend the other day was my biggest decisions in life have always been made when I am by water. So I'm going to be around the ocean. I bet you something huge is coming. God's been around with me a lot lately. My mentor, Henry Lovelace, who really got me into personal training, he's been around the last 3 or 4 days, which I think is very interesting. And I don't know what that's all about. My dad, as you know, always has a tendency to show up when I go to Cabo. So aren't you all intrigued by when I come to you next Friday? Because I'm going to do the show live. We might be doing a condensed version. I might not do an hour with you, but I promise you, and this is my promise, if I say I'm going to be there for you, I'm going to be there for you. I will show up on Monday if you will show up. Monday morning and Friday morning, I'm coming to you live from Cabo San Lucas. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, some of our best of shows. Don't forget to watch those. Again, I mentioned in the beginning of the show, you're not going to get a live notification, but we will be there because they are scheduled and ready to go for you. So make sure that you check those out. I don't want my team to have done all that crazy hard work and then it's not there for you. Or I'm sorry, that you're not there to watch those. Carrie says, oh yes, workshop. I hope you have a wonderful time. Be safe, you as well. I've never flown, as you've all known by now. Safe travels. You've got to take care of yourself. I don't care if it's a little staycation. Maybe you go to a hotel. My husband and I and my mom and I have done that. We've stayed at the Four Seasons. We've stayed at the Ritz-Carlton, which, by the way, I posted a reel that Ashlyn put together from our workout on Wednesday. Check that out because it shows you great leg work to do for the inside, outside of your leg, the glutes, some good core control. And you can work out at the Ritz, by the way. Isn't that cool? That gym is just beautiful. You can work out at the Ritz. If you're a Missouri or an Illinois resident with a valid ID, you can train there. And then you that can be your gym membership. And then you also can get the massages or facials or whatever you want from the spa. One of the absolute best massage therapists I've ever had was Liz. And I have had a lot of people that have given me massages over the years. That woman, her command of the human body is incredible. So that's part of self-care. Do you get massages? Do you do pedicures? Do you take time? One of the things I need to do when I come back from Cabo is get back to my piano playing. I want to dance again. I want to sing again. That's all feeding your passions. That is part of self-care as well. One of the things I wrote, though, in the description was woman-to-woman friendships needed. Men-to-men friendships needed. Couples, date nights, couples night out, having the blessings of multiple friendships together. That's self-care, folks. Those are the things I want you to think about. And hopefully you've been writing some of this down so that you start doing the checklist. Am I doing this? Well, no. If it's a bunch of no's, then now you know why you're off balance. Okay. Carrie says, planning a fall train trip. Thanks for the workout. Enjoy Cabo. You're welcome. Make sure you do as many sets and reps that you can do. If you're not good to yourself, you can't be good for others. I figured it out, Rose. That's right. That is the aha light bulb moment. Jenny, yes, that's why I'm always last. It feels selfish and feels like I'm being a bad mom or wife because they need me more in that moment. Nope. They need you to be happy. They need you to take care of you. Get up early, feed your body properly, do your workout, do your meditation, do your breathing. Guess what? You're in a great mood. You're organized. You're happy. You're ready to take care of the kiddos and your husband and the animals. Everybody's going to be better when you take care of you. Okay, boom, drop the mic on that. And I'm going to leave you with this. Oh, Marilyn's not on. Where's Marilyn been? Marilyn's one of our big regular viewers. Marilyn maybe has taken some time for herself. She gave me one of these books. It's called Jesus Listens from Sarah Young, Daily Devotional Prayers of Peace and Joy and Hope. Today is July 19th, so we're going to read from July 19th pages. And this today is... Ever-present God. This is a time in my life when I must learn to let go of loved ones, of possessions, of control, to let go of things that are precious to me. I need to rest in your presence where I am complete. As I take time to bask in the light of your love, I'm able to relax more fully. Then my grasping hand gradually opens up, releasing my prized possession into your care. You've been teaching me that it's possible to feel secure even in the midst of the most difficult, painful circumstances. Through staying aware of your continual presence with me, I rejoice that you are always with me and you never change. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever. As I release more and more things into your care, I'm blessed by your assurance that you never let go of my hand. I love to hear you speaking to me through your word. I am the Lord, your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. Thank you for being my firm, secure foundation that no one and no circumstance can take away from me. In your steadfast, loving name, Jesus, amen. And that's kind of a combination from Psalm 89, verse 15, Hebrews 13, verse 8, and Isaiah 41, verse 13. Again, thank you to Marilyn for providing this for me. When we're at home, we use Sarah Young's Jesus Listens or Jesus is Calling. We also have the 100 Days to Freedom books from Stephen Arterburn, wonderful parts of faith. And when I talk about completing that whole triangle of life theory, it is the spiritual. So whatever you think of, faith, religion, spirituality, it's feeding that. It's the nutrition and the mindfulness and the meditation and the breathing and the fitness side of the triangle. It's the mental health balance, all of that. Start working on that, folks, for me over this next week. And why don't you tell me what has been your aha moment? What do you think got better in your life because you started to realize the importance of putting yourself first? That's what I hope for each and every one of you. I love you all dearly. I hope you have a beautiful day. If you haven't worked out yet, get outside, walk the dogs. I'm going to do just that before I go and get a manicure and a pedicure and relax myself and then get organized and packed and ready to go. I will see you live from Cabo on Monday morning and on Friday. We will bookend the week. We'll talk about the importance of getaway time, feeding your heart and soul of your incredible blessings with your friends. And you are mine. Thank you. Share this with those that you love, your family, your friends on all of your social platforms. And let's just continue to grow this, baby. We're not stopping anytime soon. Remember, be kind and God bless you all.